finishing.
Pop a top again.
Yep.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the D-Class MOTO podcast.
What is up? We got our boy,
We've got me and Hayden and special guest Tanner.
whom you
Hello.
never seen before on camera.
We've talked about Tanner a few
No.
times on the podcast. So Tanner, I met like 6 months ago. Converted
Converted
to buy a
him.
dirt bike. Now we're all best buds.
Yep.
And all of us just went to Redbud. So we've
Yep.
got lots of stories. We stayed there for like 6 days, rented a camper,
That was a story in
did
itself.
the whole thing. So we've got lots to talk about today. We're going to bring y'all in through what all we experienced. The madness, the drama, the
highs and lows.
almost
The
not
fireworks.
having the fireworks, almost not having a place to live for the week.
I will say, for 4th of July week and weekend, what did we watch? 5 minutes worth of fireworks?
Yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't even really get to see him because I was on the gate or in the staging area while they were
Exactly.
going down.
I just realized, like, we never really got to see any
No.
fireworks. Like, it was the 4th of July thing. We never got to see fireworks. So
I got that. Tanner got that sick picture of me with the fireworks in the
Yep.
background. I was
Oh,
on
yeah,
my
staging.
bike, mullet flowing, and I was just like giving like the
yeah, just
It
the,
was
like
so-
the
it was
blue,
so
the blue
Connor.
steel, and there was a
Yep.
firework going off behind me. It was perfect.
dang.
But
Dramatic.
should we just like kind of? I mean, we've got a million things we could talk about, from the racing to us racing to the whole. Should we just like start with
Yeah.
like?
Let's
I
get.
feel like first we got to tell the whole story about the RV.
The RV.
Yeah,
Do you want to tell it since you were kind of
sure.
heading that up?
So, most people, when they go to Redbud, and they
Well,
camp
so
out-
start off basically like 3 months ago, we were like,
yeah, so
all right, we're going to Redbud. We're going to do, because the past 2 years we've done basically just drive up Friday night,
stay at my parents' or my
stay
family's
at one
house.
of Hayden's relatives' houses, and then go Saturday, then drive back Sunday.
Mhm.
And we were like, this year we want to stay at the track. We want to get an RV. We want to do the whole thing.
Mhm.
So we decided that like 2 months ago. So Hayden was in charge of running the RV, so he can tell you how that all went down.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. Running an RV is a lot more difficult than you'd think, especially on a holiday weekend. It was chaos. So I used one rental app, and I booked. or
You can
attempted-
out them since they kind of took some of our
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, the app Outdoorsy. I made 7. I lost count, but I remember specifically I have 7 requests to rent campers through Outdoorsy, and every single one of them got declined because either the customer or the owner of the camper wasn't going to be home
It's the
for
stash.
the pickup or delivery.
Did you have a picture on that app?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what? No, I didn't. I did not have a picture of
Might have
me
helped
on
us
the app.
out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got 7 cancellations to rent an RV, and like none of them were us driving it like a long distance. So there was literally no reason why it shouldn't have worked.
Yeah, so we decided to rent it. We were going to rent one in Nashville and drive it up, but we had the bikes with us. So we were going to have to get like a toy hauler, and
We just don't.
we were
also-
going to borrow a truck, but then we couldn't.
Yeah,
that
that
fell through.
failed.
So we were taking the Tacoma, which wasn't
a
going to
quarter-
tow.
a quarter ton
Yeah.
instead of a half ton.
And so we were basically like, all right, let's haul the bikes up there on my trailer, drop them off, and then we'll just pick up an RV that's up there, because a lot of them charge like for extra
Yeah.
mileage and stuff too. And we were going to like blow that out of the water and have to pay like per mile. And so we were like, it makes more sense for us just to rent one
Mhm.
up there in Michigan/Indiana. So that's what we did.
Yeah. The idea was great.
So I failed multiple attempts, and then I was like, you know what, screw this. I was almost to the point where I'm like, let's just buy one and then we'll sell
Yeah,
it.
you did say
Because
that.
like I'm just so over this. So I ended up swapping out Outdoorsy for RV Share, which worked really well. I
Did
think
the first one go through on
it
that?
was the second one. Second one went through. So we booked it. The guy asked me what we were doing. I didn't say what we were doing, but I said I told him we were camping in Buchanan, Michigan from Wednesday to Sunday. And he didn't have any other questions about it. I mean, it's over 4th of July weekend. So with that being said, everything was smooth. We packed up, we loaded, we hit the road, we got there.
We were fully loaded.
Dude,
too.
that Tacoma was loaded
Yeah.
down.
the whole bed. Hayden got this like bed cover thing. So the whole bed was covered. And then our trailer, which
Stacked to the brim.
usually that trailer would just do 2 bikes on it, but we had all 3 of our bikes.
Yep.
Plus,
And then we had a generator, the pop-up tent,
Yeah.
all our
gear.
chairs. I had my like, we had Tanner's gear bag like
Yeah.
wedged under. My gear box was like balanced on top of the
dude, we had
generator.
there was not a square
our bike
inch.
stands, all our
Yeah.
gas
Yeah.
cans.
All Hayden's tools.
Yeah. Well, the tools were in the bed of the truck, thankfully, but
it was, I mean, it was
so
loaded down.
Yeah. So anyway, we get up there and the whole idea was we were going to drop our stuff at the track and go pick up the camper. And so that kind of fell through. We had to drop our stuff off at my buddy's house, and stage it and then go pick up the camper.
Which shout out to Andrew, by the way.
Yeah. That ended up working out perfect.
Andrew was the key to our success this weekend or that weekend. So, it was honestly, he came in major clutch, but so we go and we get to the place. And so we're kind of prepping ourselves like on the drive to pick up the RV. We're like, all right, we're not going to talk or say Redbud just because like
we weren't going to lie to the guy.
Yeah, we're not going to lie, but we're not.
But we were also like weren't going to be like, hey, we're going to Redbud where, you know, campers burn to the ground.
Exactly. So we roll up and we get out of the truck. We meet the guy. And like the first sentence that the guy said, so where are you guys going again? And I said, we're going to Buchanan. He's like, you guys aren't going to Redbud. And I just froze. Like
for literally 15 seconds.
There was an uncomfortable amount of time that had passed between him saying that and me just making eye contact with him. And so
I remember I was like kind of halfway listening because I was kind of over on the side and y'all two were kind of talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
I heard him go, "You're not going to Redbud, are you?" And I kind of like look up and Hayden's like
frozen. I'm like,
and I was
this
like,
is a huge
I was like,
moment,
I was like, say something.
I was like, I said, sir, I'm gonna be honest with you. We are taking it to Redbud.
Which
And
I felt like that was not the best thing to say.
No, what
No.
you said, you were like,
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, yes, we're taking it to Redbud.
But
You're
you
like,
should.
I'm not
But it
gonna
would have
lie.
been better if
I
you're just
know.
like, yeah, like what's the problem with that?
But like my whole
you
mind
made it
was
sound like we knew that was like not allowed.
yeah, that is true. I didn't set that up. So anyway, that is all we said. And the guy says, let me go make a phone call.
Well, he was like,
Well-
he goes, we don't rent to parties and
to-
tailgates.
yeah.
yeah.
And we were like,
we
what?
went to families.
We're like, we're just going camping. And then he was like, I got to make a phone call. And then he
And
just
he walks
leaves for like
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're like, we don't party. We don't
And we're
party,
just
we
like,
promise.
and we're just like in this parking lot. Like we didn't get to plead our case or anything.
Yeah, he just turns
we're
around
just
and
like
walks away.
sweating bullets. Like we have no place to stay
Yeah.
for Redbud.
Yeah.
Dude, that was wild. And then so we're just like, we're talking it out. Like, what are we going to do? Like, if we don't have this camper,
Oh, yeah.
we're like, do we go to Walmart, get a tent? And we're like, no, it's going to be 100 degrees out or we're going to be miserable. Like, we don't have anywhere to store
we had also,
all of
like,
our groceries. or
We'd
any
already
of our
paid
stuff.
like
Yeah.
$200 for our RV spot.
Yep. Oh my
That
gosh. We spent a ton of money.
I mean, we had paid for like
camping, but
entry like Wednesday through Sunday. We had spent a bunch of money already. Just
Sorry.
dude, easy.
We had a
put there.
they get a little crazy. Yeah. So
we
we
had
were
a big spot too, like a full.
Yeah, we had it all teed up, like everything was good, and then this was the nail in the coffin. Like it almost didn't happen. So the guy goes back. 30 minutes goes by. He finally comes back out, and he's like, "All right, here's what we're gonna do." And it was like almost like a sigh of relief. And he kind of breaks it down and says, "I'm gonna rent it to you, but here's the conditions." And so he gave us this like list of like.
I mean, he really was pretty.
He was pretty chill
We
about it.
kind of
Yeah.
told him, we're like, "What do you want us to do?"
Yeah,
Like,
we're
we're going to make this like thing like perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we're like, okay, we'll send you like a picture of the campsite. So it's not like, it's not going to be like B lot upside down on fire. Like,
Yeah.
so
I was like,
The guy-
you can
the guy
come out and check
also-
on it.
The guy also rode dirt bikes and like
Yeah.
grew up going to Redbud.
Yeah,
So he
it's-
kind of knew
So
Yeah,
he knew.
how crazy people can get there.
yeah. So
And so he just probably assumed the worst. He was like three like late 20-year-olds.
yeah.
3 dudes.
And I didn't fully understand.
Two of them with
either.
mullets. Like,
So this was Tanner's first
And my
ever
first
outdoor.
time.
oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't fully understand. Like, I could understand how he'd be nervous for like us three showing up for his camper, but
Just us as individuals.
yeah, until I saw the scene on Sunday morning.
Oh yeah,
leaving
we'll
Redbud.
get to that.
I know.
that was
then I understood.
That was
his,
when Tanner was like,
his
"Oh."
concern.
It was at this moment he realized.
It was at this moment when
Yeah.
he realized.
So it all worked out. We got the lowdown. He hooked us up. Honestly,
I was
he
more concerned about this massive camper that
Yeah,
we're
so-
pulling
yeah.
with
Yes.
a Tacoma.
And
Yeah, that's-
Hayden's ripping. We're like,
Literally,
Hayden.
the back bumper of the Tacoma, which is
Tell him about, we had the hitch in the highest position to keep.
yeah.
like,
Luckily, we brought my like nice B&W
Yeah.
hitch that like you can flip upside down, like adjust it.
Yeah.
So we had it like all the way up,
yeah.
and we put this thing on, and like the bumper of the Tacoma is like basically scraping the
It
ground.
Yeah.
Honestly, it towed it pretty well. Like it wasn't squatting that
But then
bad.
there were all those roundabouts, and you were like
Yes.
hauling through. And me and Tanner were like,
I was not. I was
I'm like, I don't know
rushing
if the microwave's secured in there.
yeah.
it. Like we get
This is
to red
also,
button and
like-
it's all upside down. inside of
This
the
was
camper.
also like we were all like still pretty on edge at the time. I
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Oh, like
Connor
bullets.
couldn't eat.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
went to Cane's, and I was like,
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
I'm not even hungry. Like when I get like real like
anxious.
anxious like that, like I
Yeah.
completely lose my appetite.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think you were in the bathroom and Tanner was sitting across from me. And I was like, dude, I'm not even hungry.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't eaten in like 6 hours. I know I need to eat.
He's like nibbling on his chicken strips.
Yeah,
Like,
I
something's
scarfed
wrong.
it down though, and then finally, like when we pulled in, was when I like
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
got
there,
got a cold beer.
rolled into the parking spot, and we parked next to like 2 really expensive campers. And
Yeah.
so we got it all set up. We got all the bikes there. We unloaded everything.
We got the perfect spot too.
It was so
we
level.
paid for like, which was only like another like $10 more. We paid for like the biggest spot that they could give us,
Yeah.
and we had a pretty like modest sized rig.
Yep.
And so we basically had like our camper, the pull, like the awning, and had like the full hangout area. And then behind it, we had the pop up tent, all 3 of our bikes. And then behind that, we had my
The trailer.
trailer.
Yeah.
And
And
then we parked
And
2
then
cars.
the truck-
Yeah.
2
And
cars.
so we had a massive spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was what was that? 45, 50 feet.
They said, I forgot what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
said.
probably.
It was something
But-
big.
Yeah. And so we get unpacked, and I sent the guy like a video of like our campsite, and he's like, okay, cool. Like it put him at ease. And like, I could tell like he was like, okay, like that's a nice rig you're parked next to. It's not
Yeah.
going to burn
Yeah,
down.
it was like
Yeah.
$300,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the dude's rolling in
Brand new
a
truck.
Yeah. His camper costs more
The-
than my new house.
The guy
like,
just came from High Point. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. No, literally.
yeah,
Literally.
He was, yeah.
Yeah. The guys that we were camped next to were vet riders that like travel. Cause I mean, they're like a year or 2 away from retirement.
Yeah,
And
he
so
owned
they
a
just
construction
travel.
company.
Yeah, so they just travel, and like they went to Minnesota for the next weekend to go see what was that, Spring Creek.
Spring Creek, yeah.
Yeah. When I was watching the race this weekend, I was thinking, I was like, those guys that were beside us are at the race right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were probably rode all day.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
gosh,
sick.
that track is nuts. That hill,
Yeah.
those hills have got to be crazy. But
Yeah.
anyway,
So yeah, back to Redbud.
campsite was good. We finally like, get settled in. We're like finally able to like take a deep breath and like chillax. And it's at this point, it's like probably close to midnight. I mean, we were
Yeah.
up and at 'em and like just like
Well,
moving
also
around
like
and unpacking.
we had to
stuff.
get the RV there, and then you left to go get all of our other stuff that we had
Yeah.
to leave at Andrew's
Yeah.
house.
bikes, trailer.
So we had to go get the bikes, get all that set up, and then finally we got like settled Wednesday night,
Mhm.
and we were like all good.
Yep. So then I guess you guys can talk about like what we did the next day. What was that?
Dude, I don't even
Thursday.
remember.
Well, we-
So
we
Thursday
rode
was
the
Oh,
next
we,
day.
we rode the main track.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Tanner, you can talk
Were
about
you
that.
how were you guys nervous to ride the main track?
Yeah. I was nervous just because like you see like I probably wouldn't be as nervous had I like if we showed up to a national that I hadn't been to, I probably wouldn't
Yeah.
have been as nervous. But because like I've seen Redbud, I've seen it up close on the fence, like I'm looking at the face of some of these jumps, like the flag jump just looks insane.
It does.
Like
Yeah.
spectating it looks insane. It's not like it's anything bigger than what I've hit, but like the face of the jumps, like
Yeah.
of a pro national track.
I wasn't
It's on a hill.
I wasn't really nervous. I was more just excited. I knew I wasn't gonna like overdo it because I was like, I cannot get hurt on Thursday because
Yeah.
one, I want to race Friday.
Yep.
And then we got, I mean, the main reason we're here is for Saturday.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I was like, I'm gonna take it pretty easy. I'm just gonna like soak in like being on a pro track. And I thought it was so sick too that they already had like the like finish line banner set
know.
up.
Yeah,
like,
that was cool.
Over
And
Larocas,
the
they had
lead
the
and
big
everything.
monster arch.
Yeah, that was
And I
cool.
was like, this kind of makes us feel like we're like riding the
That's-
track.
I know.
That's an
It's so
interesting.
sick.
That's an interesting perspective because I never really thought of it as like
I got a video
safe.
of Tanner going over.
No,
the
no. I mean, like the whole mental side of things. Like, don't get hurt. Like that was your order of operation. Mine was like, don't blow this bike up. Which
Yeah.
dot.
Yeah.
But
But
like,
yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But
yeah, but like,
the track was like, I don't know. There were areas that were really good,
yes,
and then there were a
Yeah.
couple areas that were just like
dude,
unbearably deep.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
and
I
that's the yeah. Speaking about that,
So you do the ski jump and you take a left and do that like
Yeah.
that little hip.
yep.
I expected that, like that
Mhm.
straightaway. I expected that to be deep,
Where
but
it's like
that
just
was
black.
Yeah, it's like black
like-
mulch.
Yeah,
But that was gnarly. Like our practice, there were 4 or 5 guys a lap that were just
Well, also, I mean, like how many people do you think were in our practice? Because we all 3 rode together.
40 to 50.
40 to 50.
Yeah.
I was gonna say at least 50.
And the track's cut in half.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought when I was out there, I wasn't really trying to like go fast or anything. I was mostly just like taking in the riding.
Yeah.
But
That's what I should have done.
It was a lot of like looking over my shoulder, making sure I don't get landed on. Because there were a lot of like I think we picked like the slowest group. There were 8 groups, I think.
Yeah. We tried.
And
you never know. Like,
there were dudes like throwing whips over my head and stuff.
Well, Levi Kilbarger was in our practice, and he was pro like 5 years ago.
yeah.
I don't know what he was doing in there.
And
but-
that's why like there's like we could talk on and on about like sandbaggers in like D class. Like last year, there's a Red Bull athlete in the vet
the
25
the 25 beginner class.
Yeah,
Robbie
beginner. Yeah.
No, I don't know who it was. It was some guy who
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast last year, but just quick side note. This guy like showed up. He was on like a factory edition gas with a Red Bull helmet. And we were like, all right, did this guy get his helmet off like Temu or something? Like what's and then the guy, we were like a 25 plus beginner class, and he was out there going like 20 seconds a lap faster than everyone else.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah, we did see Ronnie Renner.
Yeah,
that was
cool.
Yep.
Me and Tanner were sitting. He ended up not racing Friday night.
Oh, okay.
I looked it up.
That makes sense.
But he did practice.
The
He did
triple
practice
probably
Friday
scared him.
night.
Yeah.
I saw him do a heel clicker over the triple.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
So
But hold on, we're getting way too far ahead.
Tanner,
Let's
talk
go
about
back
the track.
back to Thursday, riding the main track.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I've watched it for 15 years
Mhm.
on TV, but everything was so much closer to you than I expected it to be. Like the finish line faces and everything, that was huge. It's like you're looking. I'm not good at looking ahead anyway.
Yeah.
But it's like you're just staring
At a
into
wall.
face.
Yeah.
At a wall.
Yeah. There's like the perspective of what's on the other side.
Yeah.
It's so blind.
And even the
Like
roller
it's just
section,
sky.
like you watch how much momentum those guys carry, and
Oh
you
my
would
gosh.
think that the track is not coming at you that fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it is.
Yeah.
It's gnarly. It's a lot tighter than like the Laraco section.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much tighter than it looks.
Yeah.
on TV.
Yeah. And there's a lot of off camber.
Yeah.
The run up to it, which I don't even think most people realize.
No, but the dirt was insane. I sound like a middle schooler right now, just talking about dirt.
The dirt was sick.
Yeah,
though.
the dirt was so sick.
Yeah.
It had a hard base, but
It reminded me a lot of R3, which I know you haven't been to
Yeah.
yet. Did you feel like it was like
he
R3?
hates R3.
A well prepped R3, yes. Not like the dried Sahara Desert that is R3 when.
No, you've been to R3 though when it's sick though.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
just like
yeah.
it felt.
I
It
think
was
it's
like
very
sandy
comparable.
and then like hard base.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it was as hard base though, as because Michigan dirt is inherently very sandy because of like the Great Lakes and like the dunes and stuff. Like,
Chase was saying this year was the least sandy he's ever seen it.
and I would,
Apparently they brought in a
I
ton
believe
of
it.
sand for Designations in 20 like was it 18 when they had it?
So they said they never did.
Chase said they did.
Yeah, and all the riders were saying they're like, where'd you get all of the sand from? They're like, we swear we never brought any sand in.
wow.
But it's in October or
maybe
whatever it is.
Maybe it's just the way they cut it.
Right.
Like maybe they graded it
And-
differently.
Yeah, in the time of year, maybe the rain brings
It
more
did.
in. But
Yeah, it did rain quite a bit, but the dirt was sweet. I will say, like, I expected, like, so a big thing that you watch on TV are the braking bumps and acceleration
Yeah.
bumps. The braking bumps, obviously, like in the classes that we rode, were nowhere near like what they are on like race day. But I will say they weren't as hard as I
Yeah.
expected them to be. I expected to just get like booted off my bike.
I felt like in
Yep.
general though, even on Saturday, the braking bumps for the pro races weren't as bad as they had been in the past. Like
Yeah.
I remember like
Yeah.
after the flag jump, I got some gnarly video of like Jason Anderson getting like bucked
Yeah.
around after the flag jump. And this year they kind of just like pushed through that like it was nothing.
What's the uphill triple called?
I don't know.
which one?
The uphill triple in, the back.
Oh, I don't know.
That section got a little gnarly, but I feel like it did that even the section where Chance was
Yes.
jumping down.
Yes.
I feel like that wasn't even as gnarly as
I agree.
that first
I
year we
agree.
were there when we were like filming like Jet
Yes.
like wheel tapping down all that and stuff. It was like
And so that's why, like, did it really have a hard base? Because if it had such a hard base, I feel like those braking bumps would have been a lot more aggressive. Because I mean, like in years past, we've seen them huge.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Like,
Certain spots did, like up near the starting gate, that corner where you cut across the start,
yeah.
that had a hard base. But when you
Yeah.
get down the corner before the Roccos. Like that's one of the deepest corners I've ever hit.
Really?
Yes, it was deep. It's like you literally sink, and even the pros I could see that they were struggling with it.
Yeah, and it's so choppy, like because you can't see the bumps in the rut, and so like you really don't know what rut's the smoothest. But
even the track gets really, really rough, but it's a flowy rough. Like you said, the braking bumps are pretty soft, and you don't get like the really, like where I grew up in Missouri, you get the like teeth chattering acceleration bumps, and it's brutal to ride, and you get blisters, and it was just a little bit different.
Yeah. I don't know about y'all, but I felt like I was dodging people that had crashed left and right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the
most. That was the most.
The deepest parts were the most carnage too.
I almost hit a guy coming over La Rocca's. I have it on video.
Oh,
yeah. I was just like kind of rolling up. It was like the first or second lap. And I came over like the knuckle on top.
Yeah.
And there was just a guy like sprawled out on the ground. And his bike was everywhere.
First lap hits La Rocca's.
Well, surely he didn't try and hit it. I don't know what happened, but he was just like yard sale at the base of it.
No, so Andrew was watching the practices before us too. And he was like, dude, 8 or 9 people hit it, or they just endoed over the triple
flag jump. He said it was the flag jump.
Yeah. And then I think the tabletop after La Rocco's, you do the left and then that tabletop.
Yeah.
Gnarly.
Which that section was weird when we were riding it. It was like, it didn't look like this on Saturday, but when we rode it, you'd like took the left after La Rocco's, and then it was like 2 like whoops and then the jump. And on Saturday, I don't know, maybe they were pushing through it and made it look easy, but it didn't look like that was there on Saturday.
They made the corner before the flag jump look easy, because I remember that was a really deep corner, and like
I got stuck behind people like 5 or 6 times right there.
It was deep.
I was like, I'm gonna come through here real good. And then you had to you had to pick a rut, and then you're in that rut for like 50 yards basically.
Yeah.
And you'd get like halfway through and you'd look up and you'd see someone just like stopped. And you're like,
oh. But
what was weird though, so those tabletops, the tabletop after the Rocco's, and then the one that's kind of in the
tunnel, by the tunnel. Yeah,
by the tunnel. They don't look that big on TV, and they're not crazy big, but like they have this knuckle at the top of the face.
Yeah.
And people were endoing.
They were also like
in the pro class.
They were also like booters, which like you don't really realize when you watch the race on TV, because they're all scrubbing where they're not going that high.
Yeah.
But for people like us that like don't do that,
have to air it out.
You would be going to the sky to clear those things.
Yeah.
All of them.
That's what just blows my mind, is like, because the faces of these jumps were so big, and like, I mean, maybe the tables weren't as big of a face, but like, it's just such a weird, like a weird run up to a lot of the jumps. And it's just unnatural, because we don't ride tracks that have anywhere near that kind of like prep or structure. So it was just like a really different, and like,
I was surprised though at how like if I could ride that track like every weekend for like 2 months, I feel like I could have it down pretty well.
I agree.
Whereas we're like a supercross track, I could ride every weekend for 2 months and I would still be single through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Maybe double the whoops.
Yeah, maybe.
But Connor brought up a good point. He was like, this is equivalent to us getting to play the Masters before we watch it.
Yes.
I was telling Hayden Turkington about it, because like I've got a few buddies that are like big golf fans, and I was like, I would say Redbud is equivalent to the Masters of dirt bike.
It's the biggest. It's the biggest dirt bike event of the year.
And so like all of us have all these friends that like obsess over the Masters golf tournament. And imagine you get to play the course 2 days before they start.
You get to play the front 9 before the Masters.
That's like unheard of, but like we got to literally ride the pro track. It was so cool.
Yeah, and it really puts it under perspective of how quick everything comes at you.
Holy
cow. It blows my mind how, like, when you think of talent and motocross riders, you're like, okay, they've been doing it for a long time, but how much work is it, or talent?
Yeah.
And they have to be able to just process things so much quicker.
Oh yeah. Because then they're traveling 10 times faster than we are on any of that stuff.
Well, what I thought was crazy too was like the first 2 motos, we were standing right in front of those rollers, and like we were watching, and they were like working, getting through those rollers.
Yeah.
And like I was watching them do a lap, and I was like, if my body could physically do that, I would be exhausted.
Oh yeah.
Not even a lap in. I'd probably fall apart.
Yeah.
And they're doing that for 35 minutes.
I mean, how many laps do you think they do? How many laps?
Let's say
so
two-ish minutes a lap.
About 15 laps probably.
15 laps. And watching him go over the roller section, like the monster rollers, once.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Just watching it was
Just-
like making me
and-
exhausted.
and when they make a mistake, they have to recuperate or like use extra effort to bring the bike back under control.
Yeah.
How?
I mean, I can literally go 3 sections before I get massive arm pump.
I have a perfect example of this. At the night track, Tanner was like Chase Sexton form first lap.
Easy.
For a D class rider, it was like A level riding, like A class riding for 1 lap.
Thank you.
And then the arm pump set in, and it was just like, and then you just trickle down back to D class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
we'll get to the night racing in a minute. But yeah, that was
how. But like that kind of.
I had secondhand embarrassment on that.
I caught her some bruises.
Third-hand embarrassment. I didn't even get to ride.
I did too. I was a mechanic, and I was like, I did not just mechanic for that guy.
Yeah. So we all had a blast on the pro track, and we got 3 15-minute, 10-minute practice sessions. What you doing over there, Connor?
Getting another beer.
Oh, beer me the disc.
Checking how. We're also live streaming on TikTok. And I was seeing how
How
it's
many
going.
Ks are on there?
We've got about 10,000 viewers right now.
It's pretty light.
No, we actually have
It
one.
is a Wednesday.
We have
It is a
one
Tuesday
viewer
night.
right now.
Really?
I mean, I'm assuming
Shouldn't have said that out loud.
it looks like
awkward.
I mean, we've had a lot of people come in and out, but right now we're at
What?
one. No, we're at 4. We're at 4 now.
So we got to ride 3 sessions on the pro track. What 10 to 15 minutes? How
Yeah,
long
15
was it?
minutes.
15.
I only did 2 because I did end up
2 minutes.
basically. I ended up the first session I jacked up my ribs. I didn't really realize until
I thought that was the night track that you jacked up your ribs.
no. I jacked them
Oh.
up on the pro track. I tipped
Gotcha.
over. I have it on video. I literally just tipped over
Yeah.
in a rut,
It was.
and it was under my chest protector, and my ribs still hurt. We're a week and a
think-
half,
I think Connor has like a blood disorder because anytime he falls,
dude. I just go so
you remember-
hard.
You remember,
bruises so bad.
When we were at Durham Town,
Yes, that's
Connor
Oh,
tipped
when my
over.
leg turned
He
black.
barely tipped over.
Connor's
Yeah.
leg almost amputated itself.
Yeah.
Well, I
a week
remember,
after
like-
that.
I remember like my leg was hurting and like I was like limping around. I was like, man, I need to like man up and like. I was like, I have a bruise, and then like 2 days later, literally my whole
Yeah.
leg turned
Whole
black.
leg.
It looked like the plague on Connor's leg.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh my gosh.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna go see a doctor or something.
Dude, yeah. So we did the 3 sessions. We were on Tanner and I decided to like kind of chill for the 3rd. And so I followed Tanner followed me a little bit. And we're on the last lap. We go over the tunnel jump. And we're coming up the bull turn. And my bike, like I stalled my bike and I thought, oh, that was weird. This thing
At the time,
I was like, oh, I haven't stalled my bike yet all day. Like, what was that all about?
at the
And-
time, I didn't know that you stalled it, and I was like, that was the saddest crash I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
Because
it
you, like,
just stalled
barely
and
fell
buried
over.
the front in the
Yeah,
sand.
I was like, oh, man.
So yeah, I went down and like I went down and I stalled it. I stalled it, went down, got back up, kickstarted it, and like I thought I was in second gear because like it bogged immediately as soon as I like got it going and tried to get back up, it like bogged and died. And then it finally like started and I got up and I was just literally just putting second gear and I get to the flag jump. And this is like where they had, after the flag jump, they got you off the track after
Yeah.
the session. And right before the face of the flag jump, like exiting the corner, my bike just goes, oh, and just stops. And I'm like,
And this is a brand new
What?
bike, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
fresh. This bike has been gone through.
Yeah, we haven't even potted since you got your new bike.
Yeah, I have a brand new 2001 CR250,
Brand new to Hayden.
brand new to me.
beautiful.
And I spent a month in the garage. Connor can express the late nights that we had putting
You also
fork
spent
oil in it.
a month's wages on it. Probably 4 months' wages on it.
I'm sorry.
Took out a
Julia.
loan.
Yeah, I took out a personal loan of $1 million. Got this bike ready for Redbud. I will say I did not touch the engine, but the engine was freshly rebuilt, and so it had
Hayden was like,
0 hours.
he was
on
like,
it.
man, this guy I bought the bike from, he did a really bad job with all this stuff on the bike. He was like, He also rebuilt the motor. I hope he did a good job with that.
Because I was like, I don't have time to like go through the engine and like spend the money and the time to get this thing solid.
The most important part, just forget about it.
Exactly. So I was like, I'm going to give this guy the benefit of the doubt that he at least put the crank in correctly.
He did such a good job putting the screw in the gas tank.
Yeah. He put the wrong hardware galore everywhere. Right. So
tell him about the gas tank.
He put a bolt that was too long into the gas tank and it went through the gas tank, put a hole. And I'm like, it smelled like the garage smelled like gas. And I was like, why does the garage smell like gas? And then I took it apart and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a hole in the gas tank. And like, I tilted the tank and it just poured out the bolt hole. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to replace the rear subframe, the gas tank.
You did all the linkage.
All the the linkage. I had to replace the linkage.
Bearings.
Yeah, linkage. No, the linkage itself was broken. It had gotten bent, and the bearing didn't allow it to pivot, and so had to get new linkage,
new oil,
new fork oil. You know, levers, controls. I had the bars.
New pipe.
I had to get a new pipe. Didn't have to, but actually, no, that's a lie. I had to get a new pipe. The old one would not fit. And I was like,
so what stayed on the bike besides the motor? The frame?
Plastics,
wheels.
frame, and the wheels. Right? Yeah, and the wheels. Wheels and tires.
The brakes are all.
Yes, but I had to get a new master cylinder 2 days before Redbud. Luckily, Motorsport dropped that thing off 2-day overnight delivery. So got the bike. Literally, I went through everything except the engine. Like, and that's the craziest thing. And like, I had to replace the intake boot because the electron carb that he put on it wasn't installed. It was like cockeyed and it was just leaking air past the carburetor and like
probably sucking a bunch of dirt.
Oh, stop. It could have been. Yeah, could have been. So anyway, Connor and I tuned this bike at our buddy Joe's house and this thing ripped. Like we both can agree.
I will say that thing did. I'd never been on a 252 stroke before. I'd ridden a 454 stroke a couple of times and it was probably pretty similar, but like that thing, like you couldn't keep the front wheel on the ground. That's not like I have a 2023 250R 4-stroke and my bike's not like that.
The power band just hits like a freight train.
It's like freaking nuts.
Like, just comes right on.
It was fast. It was fast. You're turkey. So anyway, let's preface that the bike had been gone through every nut and bolt except for the engine. The engine was the only thing that I hadn't touched. I mean, it had new coolant in it and a new spark plug. He had the wrong spark plug in it. So,
but you trusted this guy did the rebuild perfectly.
No, I didn't. And that's the thing. Like I had to trust because like I didn't do anything to the bike, like the engine. So I had to trust the guy. Right. So we get to Redbud. At this point, just testing and tuning it, we dialed in this carb. And let me tell you, like I checked the spark plug because that's how you read how well your bike's running on a 2-stroke. And that spark plug looked verbatim out of the owner's manual, how it's supposed to look when it burns. And I was like,
yeah,
fire me up. We got 3 motos out of this thing. The face of the flag jump, my bike goes raw and just dies.
Dude, you got so lucky.
Well, I wasn't going to send it anyway. I was just going to roll it because like I was exhausted because like kickstarting your bike after that, I was just dead.
But you'd hit it, right?
Yeah, I'd hit it.
Did you hit it that practice?
Yeah, I hit it like I actually hit it that practice.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to my
I remember I was
keeping me safe.
I didn't ride the last moto, so I was filming and
oh yeah,
I was standing there for a while and then I see Tanner go over. And then
I was literally just on the other side.
I was like waiting. I was like, when's Hayden going to come by? And then like I waited for like 10 minutes and it was like everyone was off the track and there was like literally no bikes on the track. And
yeah,
we
were
the
last group too. There's no other bikes.
Yeah, that was the last session. And I was like, and I was like, my first thought was like, dang it, Hayden probably just like broke his leg or something.
Yep.
And
oh my God. Okay. So I get back to the truck.
Yeah,
I ended up riding with you back to the truck, right?
Yeah. So I picked you up.
They loaded me up on the side by side and they started hauling me back. And then Tanner rolls up.
So I get back to the truck and Hayden's not there. And I'm like, he was literally because I was.
Well, yeah, I was with you, and then I was like, why don't you go look for him? Because like you were on the bike.
Yeah, because I was obviously right in front of him. I'm like, how either he just smashed his face in over the flag jump or something happened because I was
exploded on the back of the skull.
I died instantly the next day.
So I'm like, where could you possibly be going? So I'm going back up to the track and I see Hayden on the back of the side by side with his bike just getting carried. I'm like, and he's
I wave him down.
And I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? And he's like, dude, I broke my leg. My leg's broken.
My leg's broken.
I'm like,
He's like,
no. I'm like, no, dude. No.
Dude, he's just like, no. And I was like, nah,
My worst fears.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, I'm
and he's like, oh my gosh, dude. He's like, dude, I was so worried about you.
Yeah, I was like, dude, screw you for those 3 seconds. I was so scared.
But yeah, the bike, it wouldn't start. It feels like it has compression. I mean, it feels.
It's got compression.
It has compression. I mean, I haven't put it on a gauge yet, but like it feels like it has compression, but it just doesn't start. So I'm really, honestly, it probably has gas, but my
the float bowl is full of gas on the carb, so it's at least getting that far.
Yeah, well, I mean, I trust unless there's like a major obstruction, and I haven't torn it apart yet, so we don't know yet. But I think I either lost spark, like what if like the
I think the kill switch may have just come loose.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna be laughing so hard if that's what it was.
No, that doesn't happen to Hayden. The thing's blown up.
Yeah, I mean, my luck. Let's be honest. I rebuilt everything. There's a hole in the bottom of it. We just don't know yet.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is that thing still recording?
Yep.
Have a red border around it.
Yeah, they were good.
So that was the end of my riding. Unfortunately, that really bummed me out. But honestly, it was kind of nice because I knew I wasn't going to get injured from that point on. But I was still really bummed because
I mean, you did half of what we brought the bikes for.
Correct.
I basically finished half of what we brought the bikes for.
Correct. And I didn't lose out like on that experience. And honestly, like I don't know, like if you were to weigh like what is more valuable to me, I would probably say I could enjoy the night track more just because it's more my level and like my like kind of fun.
Right.
But the experience of getting to ride the pro track, I think it was worth it.
Oh, yeah, I would
have picked the pro track over the night track.
Yeah,
I think.
Me too. I was sketched out about the night track, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. We'll get there in a second. We got to talk about Thursday night, the scene at a hot rod that we were a part of.
Oh my gosh.
So
you literally cannot make this up.
So I'll tell
you tell us.
So we finished our riding, we went back to the camper, cracked open a few beers. I mean, I guess by the time we finished riding, it was pretty late.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 4 o'clock.
And so did we stay there?
We made dinner. Yeah. We made dinner. We cooked burgers on the open stove.
Yeah, that's right. And then like it was probably, I mean, we kind of like hung out at the camper, did our thing.
You guys had already run back into town for a beer run.
Yeah, we went into town. There was like nowhere open.
Yeah, like we didn't need to go get alcohol. We had plenty, but we did it anyway.
We were kind of more just like bored, and we were like, might as well.
Lord, that was a blast.
I had redbud fever too that night. I was like,
So we went and grabbed. Also, apparently, Buchanan, Michigan shuts down at 6 p.m. We had to go all over town to find one place that
everybody that works in Buchanan, Michigan, worked at Redbud that week.
Yeah, well, they were all closed except for this one place, and so we went and got beer run, and then we get back and we were like, hey, let's go like walk around, like see what's going on. So
what time is it? What time is it?
Probably like 10 p.m.
10.
No. It had to be like 11.
I think it was still pretty early.
Sun sets at
9.
9.
Yeah,
9.
Yeah, you're right.
So then
maybe 10. We'll say 10:30.
Sure.
So we were like, this was Thursday night. So like basically the first like night of Redbud, I feel like.
Yep.
And so we're just like we like take off from our camper. We walk down to like there's kind of like a main road that goes through, and we're like walking down. And
like we're walking down on a row, like our camper row.
Yeah, we're walking down the row, and we
get to the main road.
We hit the main road, and we look up, and like I don't know if y'all have seen the scene from Hot Rod where it's like
I'll pull it up.
It's towards the end of the movie when they're like walking from like Rod's house to like the final jump, and like it starts out like all like
three of them,
all inspirational, and like people join them, and they're singing that we're not gonna sit in silence song or whatever, and then it. Basically, like one person snaps and it turns into like a full-on riot. That was literally like what happened. So like we were walking down this row and we like hit the main road and we look up and there's like probably like 600 people coming over the hill.
The whole road was full.
What was crazy too was like it was dark where we were and there were like a bunch of lights coming from it. So you could just see like silhouettes of like hundreds of people like barreling over this road.
Yep.
And then like they get down to us and they just start like pushing over the
Oh my gosh.
porta potty.
Porta Johns got flipped, and it was just like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
And like we were like, what did we just walk up on?
because we were in the front of it. Like how we got to the front of it, the timing was
Well,
impeccable.
it was just like we just like intersected with like the chaos part of it.
But we were at the front, and then the mass that followed us is where the chaos all ensued.
Like literally as we were like standing there, I was like, this is the scene from Hot Rod.
You could not have come up with a better description in real
And we
life.
watched Hot Rod on the way there.
Yeah, we did.
So we were already like hyped up on that, but that was so wild.
That like the guy pushed over the porta john.
It was like literally.
and we also didn't know if someone was in it. We were like, what is going on?
Yeah, like just a porta john on its side, and like everyone's swarming around it. But
And so that was Thursday night, and then
That was really the only thing that happened, really.
no,
Yeah.
honestly though, because
Yeah.
like that event happened because they
that was like
What it
Tanner's
was-
introduction to Red Bud.
Yeah.
Because like
I was like, I'm too old for this.
Yeah. there were also a lot of like people that were just Hayden was talking to this kid.
Oh
It
no,
ended up being
I
like-
wasn't. I had said 2 words. I said 2 words, and the kid just started talking.
We kind of
As
like
if,
found
like,
like
he
a
knew me.
a group to just like stand. We really were talking to ourselves, but like standing around this other group. And this like kid came up and started talking to Hayden.
I said like, oh, cool, and that's all I said. And and then he just started. Well, you know, like, bro, why is the AMA like they moved me up to B class because I was too fast for C class? And I was like, why is this guy talking to me? And I'm like, I don't have to talk to him. And I just like ignored him and like didn't even make eye contact with him. And I just walked away. And like the kid was just kept talking. And I was like, oh my gosh. So
It was an interesting
It
crowd.
was-
It was a mix of like, I would say like 40-year-olds and like 18-year-olds.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
And,
was
like,
like 30 to 40. Like 35. There was not a lot of like people like our age there,
Yeah.
honestly. But it was like 35 to 45 and then like 18-year-olds and like 18 to 10-year-olds.
There were a lot of
Yeah,
kids like
it's really
running
strange.
around, like obviously like underage drinking. And I was like, how did you get here?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did your parents like drop you off or something? Or
It's like when your parents just drop you off at your friend's house and like,
yeah,
maybe I'll see you again.
wild event. But that was
Yep.
Thursday night. Thursday night, I guess was, well, we'll get to, we didn't participate in Sunday, but we saw the after effects of it. We'll get there eventually. But
Sunday?
yeah,
Sunday
Tanner
morning.
went to go poop.
Oh, yeah.
Easy on that.
Yeah.
We will,
Tanner was using the
So-
superheroes room.
I prefer the.
let's move to Friday. What did we do Friday?
I thought it was press day.
Yeah,
but
so
we
we
slept in.
We
slept in
missed
Friday.
press day.
We didn't sleep in.
Oh yeah, we
We
did.
still got up at 8.
Yeah, we got up kind of early, but there was like no communication of like when press day was going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And we went to watch, we did watch the MOTO Combine on Friday.
Yeah.
which is cool. That was
Which, yeah, that was
Yeah.
really cool. That
Good
race
battle.
was wild. Y'all
Tough.
probably saw it, but
Tough.
we
for
were
Landon Gordon.
we were
That
like
was
on
tough.
the rollers when Drew Adams passed Christian Janik.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
we were like looking up. We couldn't see Landon Gordon go down. And then I just saw Drew Adams go over the finish line first.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck?
Yep.
And like people were like losing it up there in the corner.
Dude,
Yep.
25 minutes and the final corner.
Yeah.
You lose that.
the last corner. Holy cow,
Brutal. But shout out to Drew Adams. Like he's gonna be a beast.
Yeah.
that was a good battle.
Yeah. That was a fun race to watch. Those kids are all nuts.
Yeah, and so on Friday the rollers they were and for our practice too on Thursday.
Yeah, they were like-
so much bigger.
They were like,
Yeah.
but they kind of worked out because I saw they were doing this in press day too. They were all doubling through the rollers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I wasn't.
I mean, I was, but
I wheelie tapped every
yeah.
single one of them.
Yeah.
Eli
I hit him like whoops. I was just bop, 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 bop.
Sure.
fourth gear
um,
wide.
No, I just went single.
Yeah, same.
Single. But
Sitting down.
yeah,
Sitting down.
Feet off
Puke-
the pegs.
yeah, puking my
Peeing your pants, peeing
Panting,
your brains out.
Mid vomit.
looking for an inhaler. But yeah, even like I saw a video of Chase doing it in press day. They were all doubling through them all, and then they changed them somehow. I guess making
Yeah,
them
they
shallower.
They filled in the bottom.
Yeah,
filling
they
the
either
bottom,
took
I guess,
tops off or
tech-
filled
like
the
makes
bottom.
them more difficult, right? Because then you can't just double through them.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
they became like ledges. It was super weird because they were keeping their rear wheel on the ground,
Mhm.
and so it was just digging a pocket out
Yeah.
in between
They're
each
getting really
roller, and they'd get really cupped out.
But yeah, the speed, the top 5 would carry like the
talking about
450s.
the-
On the combine,
No. I'm saying like
Oh.
for Saturday. Like,
Oh, we're not at Saturday
but
yet.
I'm saying like the speed differential between the combine versus like the 450 class, like I thought the combine was nuts.
Dude, I did too. Well, it was also the first time I've gotten to see like factory guys ride that track after I just rode it the previous day.
Oh yeah, because they hadn't changed the track really.
No, it was the same track.
Y'all hear
But
me chewing?
No, you're good.
no, not when you're there. We did earlier though.
These are good.
My
They are
shout out to my mom. Made some butterscotch.
Shout out to Hayden's mom for making
Yeah.
bomb cookies.
Phenomenal. But yeah, those, I forgot my train of thought because Connor has to eat a cookie on a podcast.
Sorry.
I don't know why.
This is my show. I can do what I want.
I don't know why I thought like shout out to my mom as if like she was downstairs making these cookies.
Yeah. Just bringing them up.
This is Connor's house.
Yeah.
You were talking about the moto.
Connor lives with his mom. His
Shout out to Melissa.
Yeah, Melissa's here.
This is my house that I own.
Yeah.
You were talking about the moto combine was the first time you saw like pro level riders on that track.
Yeah. And it was, I don't know, just opened my eyes quite a bit. I mean, those kids are like 16. And I think about when I was 16, just how I could ride a dirt bike. Okay. But those guys look like they've been on bikes for 20 years. You know?
It's I don't know how somebody can do that. First of all, on a dirt bike. And then like, how do you learn that? Like,
yeah. I mean, Drew at
The heck was that?
guitar. But anyway, it was pretty sick.
Yep.
PC has a bright future. Hopefully they can
Yeah,
not stay
they
hurt.
got all the
Oh
whole
my gosh.
podium was PC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
They just got I don't know if they have room for all those kids.
No, so I mean, what are they going to do with Ty? And then
Is Drew coming up
Drew's supposed to come up for the last 3 next year
for the motocross?
He's coming up for the back three.
outdoors.
Okay.
Yeah, for the back 3.
Well,
For the back end.
by then, 3/4 of PC will be injured. Anyway,
yeah,
so
that's-
they'll
I
have
know.
they'll have plenty of room for 'em.
But they have contract. I mean, they have contracts, and it's just hard to
Injuries
Figure
break
it out.
contracts, you know.
yeah. But
So Saturday.
No, we got to talk about the night racing on Friday.
Oh yeah.
dude,
Friday- Friday after the moto combine,
we can hear you. Jeez.
little ASMR.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. All right, guys. We just lost like 15 listeners.
Anywho,
That's fine. We probably get paid for if they listen to the first 5 seconds. Actually, we don't get paid anything.
yeah,
This
we do this for you.
This episode is sponsored by nobody.
Yeah. Connor's mom.
Melissa,
brought to you by
Melissa Grant.
So yeah, after the moto combine, we went back to our sweet home.
Yep.
And me and Tanner were signed up to race on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Hayden was supposed to, but bike clunked out. So we have I signed up for 2 classes, Tanner signed up for 1. So practice started at like 7 or something. We cooked dinner or whatever before. I don't even remember. And one thing that I thought was cool, so me and Tanner were the first group we were in was the same group. And we were both sitting there in like the staging area. And I was like, dude, there's a guy with a Red Bull helmet. Like, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh, it's that same guy from last year.
Yeah.
and we were looking at it, it said Renner on the back. And I was like, is that Ronnie Renner?
Yeah.
And we were like, and turns out it was.
That was.
Mm-hmm.
It was, he ended up, I looked up because like all the results are online now. By the way, sorry, Tanner.
Yeah.
I saw your
Nobody
last.
go look at 25 plus.
Hey, you didn't get dead last. There was
Yeah,
one.
so-
There was one person that finished behind you.
good.
Don't look at his lap times either.
Yeah.
But
First lap was great.
First lap, that's it.
but I clicked on Ronnie Renner's like profile, and he raced one of the main track races, but he didn't race anything on the night track. So I guess he was just there for practice. But we got to watch him practice. He threw a heel clicker over the triple in the back on the night track.
So
But yeah, so Connor and I, like we had walked the track a little bit around the track, and
I had ridden it last year too, so I kind of knew what I was in for already.
And the only jump I was looking at was this triple on the
There's a triple
left
in the back.
in the back or left corner if you're like looking up the hill.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it doesn't look that bad. But Connor and I are sitting and staging, and 4 people endoed.
Well, as we were rolling
In
into
the practice before
as we
us.
were rolling into staging, even I was like, I think I'm gonna hit it. Like last year I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
Last year I didn't, but I was having to like check up every jump, and I was like, it can't be that bad. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna.
I sent it last year.
I was like-
cased it twice.
I was like, it's probably just like 3rd gear, like 3/4 throttle, no big deal.
Right.
And like while we're sitting in staging, people were just like
bad,
Yeah.
like yarding themselves.
Like we saw like 4 people go over the bars and like land on their neck.
Yeah. And there was a kicker, a really bad kicker on the left side.
Which was the side that...
Yeah, obviously it flows to that and everyone's going to hit that spot.
And they literally stopped the practice thing. Some guy went out there with a shovel.
Yeah, that's when you know it's bad.
Yeah.
When they're like,
somebody went out there with a shovel. I didn't get to see it. I was on the back.
Yeah.
No, because
we
I was
were
on the other
the
side
next
of it.
group out. And they were like out there with a shovel, like banging on the face of it. And they were like,
that explains,
oh my
explains a lot
gosh.
because the jump after the triple and it's like sand section and then it's like the double down. There's a big hole there too that they were shoveling. I was like, oh, well, that's interesting that they're shoveling that out. That explains because they had to shovel the triple then.
So sketchy, dude.
That's wild.
So yeah, that was the one thing I was worried about on the night track. But the night track was sketching me out, which I never hit the triple, because
I'm the only one who sent the triple.
That is crazy.
You didn't make it.
No, I didn't. But I sent it.
But yeah, that
125.
And that was my first race in 7 years. I mean, it was my first start as well, and I was pretty nervous. I was like,
oh yeah.
Honestly,
well, also it doesn't help that. So I
saw 4 people die.
Yeah.
My first, we'll talk about my race and then we'll talk about yours since it was the last thing of the night. So I raced at like probably 9:30, 10 o'clock. Which I was feeling it in my race. I got a terrible start. So the way that they did it too, dude, you gotta quit with that.
Sorry,
the way they did it too was they like had a staggered start. I guess because there were so many people that signed up.
Yeah, they doubled.
Which that track cannot handle 30 people, let alone like 60 or whatever they put on there.
It's
only 30.
24 person gate.
Yeah. Yeah. So like they had to split up the start. So I was in the second group and they like dropped the gate for the first group. I roll up and I didn't know that there was like a stoplight that was telling you what was going on. And so I'm kind of like getting ready. Tanner has it on video. I'm like getting ready to like pull a tear off. And like I hear everyone's bike start to rev up. So I kind of like look down too. And then the gate just drops. I'm like, oh shoot. And I like majorly, luckily I didn't stall it. I like majorly bog off the start. Also, I had a terrible start. The guy right next to me was like bragging about how good he was at starts. And I freaking gapped him so hard.
He did the same thing
with a terrible start.
Oh my god!
He was like looking up at God, dude. He was, and then the gate drops.
Basking in the mark.
Well, like the whole like when we were like sitting there like behind the gate like getting ready, he was talking to me. He was like, yeah, like I'm really good at starts, but I'm more of a woods rider. Like I don't really do good on the track. And I was like, well, I guess you'll start ahead of me and like maybe I'll see you out there.
Yeah.
And then I got a terrible start and I still just like launched past him. And I was like, oh gosh. But anyway, so I started, I don't know what place I started in, pretty far back. Just because like
sixth.
I botched the start.
Were you outside?
No, I had to have been further back than sixth. I had the first gate pick. So I picked
he goes right to the right of the box. I did the same thing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I felt like that was the best pick.
It was the safest pick. Yeah,
the one there was like
definitely not a whole shot gate.
No, it was not.
I don't know. It was like it was the straightest line of the corner.
No,
I felt like
you would have had to.
It'd have been really 3 to your right or 3 to your left.
Yeah.
Maybe I wanted to be by the doghouse because you got extra room.
Sure.
And I didn't want. My biggest fear is like whenever, especially when we're at Scrubbender, I don't know if their gates are just narrower, but when you're sitting there on the gate,
you're literally
like,
bar to bar.
There's like this much room between you and the guy next to you, like on both sides. And you're like, man, I hope they don't come an inch to the left or right.
I will say that is one thing that like is really uncomfortable being on a gate is like you don't realize how close you are to the person next to you. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's different on like a pro gate, but.
At least I felt like I had enough room at Redbud, but at Scrubbender, it's like
it's tight.
Really?
Yeah, it's real tight. But anyway, so terrible jump out the gate. I bet I was at least 10th coming out.
Yeah.
And dude, I was feeling it, and I started just clicking people off. I don't think I got past.
No.
I was only passing people, and I had to have passed at least 10 people.
Which
there were.
You clicked them. You passed like 3 or 4 a lap.
They dropped the gate in front of us was the same class as us, so I think I was starting to pass people that were on that gate drop too. But I felt like I passed 10, and then I looked it up. So probably like a lap or 2 left. I was coming in to pass this guy. He's on a Kawasaki, and I forced the issue just too hard.
You had battled him, I think. Maybe 4 corners.
Yeah.
So like it was.
I was ready to get around.
Yeah.
Him, and I was feeling good. Don't watch the video.
I have it all
because I
on
looked
video.
slow as all get out.
I promise
But-
you it wasn't
It
that
was a 6-minute
slow.
video right now on the phone. You pull this whole thing up.
4 quarters.
It's just one
30
lap.
seconds.
Yeah, one lap.
No, but I was feeling it because the thing too is like, I would say a lot of times when we ride, I'm like kind of like looking over my shoulder, making sure no one's gonna run over me because like we're usually like the slower people on the track. But like we were in like open D and like I felt like I was one of the fastest people in that class, which is not saying anything at all because it was open D.
That's still a good feeling.
But it was still, I was like, I feel like I don't have to worry about someone like
Landon,
like trying to pass me and making a mistake because like I'm the one that's like moving forward.
Yeah.
And so I was like clicking people off. The sickest one was there was this guy in I think it must have been a 125, some 2-stroke in front of me, and I passed him in the air on the tabletop.
Yeah.
And I literally,
It was pretty sketchy though. It was pretty close.
he went way higher than me, and I just like greased it perfectly, and I was like, oh, that was so sick.
That was like the first time you had hit the tabletop, right?
Yeah, I didn't hit the tabletop.
Yeah, you didn't even hit it in practice. That was
well,
the first practice. Second practice you did.
No, I didn't hit it at all till the race.
Oh wow.
I was planning on hitting it in practice, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to hit it next lap. Like it looks easy. And then they called us their way of the checkers.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to hit it. But yeah, first lap out, I hit it on the race, which like when you're in the race, you kind of, I was thinking about hitting the triple. But anyway, so like a lap left, I come in, there's this guy in a Kawasaki, and I was on the outside. It was like a left hand, like almost a 90 degree, maybe a little bit less than a 90 degree
with a little roll.
And there was like an inside line that had like 2 pretty close ruts, and yeah, it had like a little roller on it too, on the inside line. And he was on the left side of me, and so I kind of came in, and I was like, I can beat him to the corner.
Yeah.
And so I like hammered down, locked up the brakes, and I like hit the rut. And props to him, he stayed in it with me, and he just like knocked me. We made pretty hard contact, I feel like. I mean, obviously because I'm pretty banged up.
You're dead.
But he just like slammed it. He like basically used me as a berm, I feel like, because I got launched, flipped, like I don't know how I went down. I remember as I was I fell into him. I fell into him.
Yeah.
I remember as I was going down, I was like, my head's getting stuck in his rear tire. My head's getting stuck in his rear tire. And so luckily that didn't happen. But I looked it up, and I think he was 5th place. Because there was only one Kawasaki that was ahead of me, and the guy finished 5th.
Dang, that was
and the top 5,
top 5 in D class.
The top 5 got sick awards.
Yeah, they got them.
Oh
yeah.
no!
And so I would have gotten like a little. I would have gotten like a little medal.
A little medal
or something.
Dang, dude, a trophy
but
from Redbud.
I ended up going down, and then like 6 people passed me when I went down. I ended up fighting back, and I finished 7th, which I'm proud of because
that was a sick,
I looked at last year. Me and you finished 18th and 19th.
Oh, really?
So major improvement.
Yeah, yeah. I would have finished better last year had I not just
had you not cut half the track.
No, if I hadn't tucked the front so many times, like washed it. But
yes, that was my race, and then Tanner's race is at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was. It was horrible. I had time to drink like 4 beers in between practice and my race.
And then sober up,
and then sober up. Yes. But I was super nervous for my start. Like back in the day, like the start, I would get so anxious on the start just because I've seen so many pileups and stuff. And I'm like, how am I don't have a whole shot device. How am I going to do a start right now on this 450, you know? And, that was such a sick feeling though, being behind the gate. I haven't had that rush.
You were the second group too, right?
Yeah, I was the second group.
I didn't like that because like I kind of like getting to sit there and like kind of get ready and like
yeah.
But it's like when you're the second group, you have like 30 seconds, probably less.
No, it's like 10 seconds.
Yeah, like 10 seconds probably.
Yeah.
But my start was good. But I got
a sick video of it.
Yeah, I tracked
behind.
super well.
I got Connor on your start.
Yeah,
I got Connor from behind.
Yeah, I hit him from.
All right.
Anywho,
but I got like a decent start, but I wanted to be safe on the outside of the box, and so I don't know, came out like 5th or something, and the whole time I'm like. I do not believe I'm racing a dirt
You told me
bike
on the gate, you were like, I'm going to hit the triple. And I was like, all right, sweet.
Yes, I did. And so,
Pause.
So,
you were like, it looks easy. I'm just going to hit it. And I was like, okay.
It did, yeah.
I was like, awesome.
Good for you, buddy.
And so, no, I didn't hit the triple, but
I know. I watched.
yeah. So, but the reason was like, I was probably 4th or 5th. And I'm like, this is so sick. I cannot believe I'm racing a dirt bike right now. But also, what am I doing? And then I come up to the triple and everybody hits it in front of me. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
I didn't know that.
I could totally hit the triple right now.
Yeah.
And then, nope. I back out. I'm like, nope, not going to happen.
What goes through your head? Because like, you know, you're not thinking about the triple until you're rounding the corner.
Yeah.
Like, are you in second instead of third? Are you in second? Like,
well,
you could hit in second.
I could hit it in second, but it'd be kind of sketchy. But
I think most people were hitting in third.
AP was hitting the leap in second.
I know.
Yeah. Also, his
on
bike
a factory bike, but
is geared completely different.
Yeah. But yeah, I came up to it and I was like, no, not right now. Maybe lap 2.
Thankfully, nobody behind you jumped to eat.
I know, right? I was like, I'm pretty in the middle right now.
Yeah.
That's like one of my worst fears is getting landed on as well.
Yeah.
Like Trey Kennard.
Yeah. So a lap goes by and I'm kind of feeling it. I'm like, this is really fun. And then I pass one guy.
Mm-hmm. You passed a couple people.
I passed a couple people.
You passed like maybe 2 people. And then
what was your class? Like
the first
25 plus, yeah.
Which is like probably like B class ish, right?
Probably like old B riders like me or something. So I did, and then I see Connor waving me on, and I'm like,
I was in the like
the pit area
where you're supposed to have like the pit boards or whatever.
Yeah. And I got super hyped, and then I round the corner and I do that. I totally just blow myself up on the next rhythm section, and all my arm pump just set in. I'm like, I could probably ride this out for maybe another half a lap safely, but nope. And so I mean.
Well, I just remember like you were charging and then you came around the 3rd lap and you were just like crawling down the straight. And I was like
standing up.
I was like, what is happening?
It was all I could do, literally. What?
Oh my gosh. Is this
the live stream thinks we're a bot. Hold on.
Oh, really?
Gotta comply with TikTok standards.
Oh. Anyway, continue.
So
onward.
It was all I could do to even just get through the rest of it. That's how bad I get arm pump. It was all I could do to even pull in the clutch.
Yeah. And that's why it's like, if you had like more time to like casually get into it. Like, if you had like one moto, because usually like second moto, your arm pump's not as bad. But like first moto is like the worst. Like the first time you hop on your bike and ride it.
Yeah. After
like
6 hours.
Yeah. It's like your arms are super pumped. But then like the second moto, it's like you can kind of manage your pace and manage your arm pump a little bit better. But it's just like fresh out the gate. You looked so good that first lap. Thanks. And I'm bragging to Andrew, right? Or actually, no, it was Nick Boyd. I was bragging to Nick. I'm like, dude, this guy's like A class rider. He's sandbagging the B class. I'm not even joking. I was hyping you up like mad.
Oh, you're talking
about you. I was like,
wait,
Tanner.
Is this before the gate drop?
No, this is at like first lap.
During?
Yeah, okay. I was like, watch Tanner. He's on the Cowie. And I'm like, Nick, this guy, like, I've seen videos of him. He rips. I've seen him at Durham Town. He rips. First lap, I'm like, what'd I say? Second lap, he's kind of slowing down. Did he get hurt? And
hit his toe?
Is like, what's going on? Is he like, something's not right? Maybe something's wrong with the bike. Something's wrong with the bike.
Yeah.
And like third lap, he's standing up, just kind of putting after like in like the straightest section where like kids on 65s are like 30 miles an hour, like tapped. And like he's just like, brah. Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh. He's already tired. And I was just like, oh no, like I hyped this guy up so big.
Dude, I was like, this is embarrassing. That was a lap on a 30, like, but what is the lap time? 40 seconds?
Yeah. Probably. It was a pretty short track.
I was like, oh man, that's really bad. One lap.
Oh my gosh, dude. It was so, I felt bad because I was like, Tanner's like so fast. And then it was like third lap, he was like, I would have smoked him. But
dude, I mean, a 65 would have beat me in that race.
Oh, dude, like the 65 kids were nuts.
65 kids are flying.
Those kids are faster than they probably had some of the top 5, top 10 lap times.
Oh yeah,
like those 65s are unreal.
No, and they're in shape. They can do the whole thing.
Well, yeah, they don't have shape. They're a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't get fatigued.
But it's so funny. So the top 5 got a plaque or whatever. So Connor's. Well, since Tanner
was such a late race, I went by right after because we had to return transponders.
Nothing was posted.
I went by to see if Tanner had gotten. I was like, well, he did bad, but there were only like 7 people in his class. Yeah. So maybe he got a top 5. Yeah. And so they didn't have the results yet. And I was like, it was already like 1:45 at this point. I was like, we're not waiting up. And the lady was like, you can come back tomorrow. We're open at like 5 p.m. and you can check. And we're like, all right, sweet. So then you can go and tell us.
So I went up there and I was like, hey, I just want to see if I maybe got an award or a plaque. And she's like, what's your class? And I told her, and she's like looking through and she's like, oh no, you got 8th or like 7th. She's like, no, you got 7th. I was like, oh, okay.
Not even close.
She was so cold.
This full-grown man looking for his plaque.
Gonna hang it onto my wall.
Please, I just want something for my room.
There's nothing on the walls of my room.
Yeah.
I need this.
Yeah, she's like, no, dude, you did not.
I was like, what do you want? Go away.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was probably about all for Friday.
Yeah.
We went to bed at like 2 a.m. And
Yeah.
I will say though, I watched Deegan's vlog of last year on the night races. This was when I was signing up and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I feel like it was more tame this year other than practice.
There wasn't pit bikes getting blown up. They also banned pit bikes this year.
Yeah.
So there was none of that shenanigans this year.
Yeah, it was pretty also like the later in the night it gets, the more tame it gets.
Yeah.
By like 1:30, all the crazy people are
in B lot.
Yeah.
Doing whatever they do.
Or burning something to the ground.
Yeah.
But
not our camper.
What else?
Yeah.
Anything else for
Friday?
Friday?
I will say so when we were watching the fireworks show, it looked like it was coming from our camper.
Oh yeah.
And so we're like me and Tanner were in staging. I don't know where I guess you
I was on the hill.
You were up on the hill.
Yeah, at the top of the hill.
And so we were watching the fireworks show and we were like, oh, that's like coming from like about where our camper is. And they ended it with this massive fireball.
Yeah.
And I was
looks
like
it just dropped right on.
And I was like, oh, I hope that was not our camper.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
But so that was Friday. And then Saturday.
Slept in until 8 a.m. again.
Yeah, so
yeah, we got up early.
Practice.
Well, Hayden missed practice.
Practice started at 8 a.m.
I cooked breakfast.
We were also like Saturday's like the reason we came. So like we got to make the most of it.
Yeah.
So Saturday, we were over there by 8:30, right?
Yeah.
Yep. We saw basically everything we wanted to see.
Yeah, we started on 450 Group 1.
And we got to see all the 450s, 250s, both sessions.
Yep.
Me and Tanner like snuck into the. Did we sneak? No, we snuck into the pits on Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, that was cool.
We'll tell that quickly. Wasn't really. Was it during the MOTO combine?
No, it was during sound check. So it was after.
It was before, I thought. Oh, was it in between?
Might have been before. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
I don't know. Me and Tanner were just like walking around, and we walk up to this guy. Like we were just like walking towards the pits. We're like, we don't know what's open, and so we just like walk in. This guy's like, oh, you have to have this wristband, and we are like, oh, okay, that's no problem. And so we just like we're like, we'll just walk to the left, which he shouldn't have let us go that way.
No,
that was confusing. We basically were like walking like into the starting gate.
Yeah, and they're doing sound check right there.
And so me and Tanner just like walk down, and then just like an open gate, like and Ty Masterpool is like sitting on his bike like 10 feet away.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we'll just walk over here, I guess. And so we walk in. And like got to walk all through the pits the day before. There wasn't really much going on.
Yeah.
We got to see all the flawless bikes, not an inch of dirt on them.
Yep.
A day early. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, Ty's cool. He seems like a super quiet dude. You guys have talked to him, right?
Yeah.
But it was me and you and then Ty just on his bike. So like just us in this circle.
Like, imagine like
no one's talking.
Yeah. Imagine an where there would be hundreds of people, just nobody.
Yeah. And it's just us three, and we're just like staring down his bike, and we're like, "Hey, that's Ty Masterpool. That's pretty cool."
Yeah.
And Connor's shooting Kitchen's bike as well. But no, like we're like that was.
I thought about saying something to him because like we talked to him last year, and like I got some footage that he's posted before. He actually posted it like later that day on Friday. This video that I got of him. But yeah, we just kind of I don't know. I don't like bothering people when they're like in the middle of something, and he looked like he was kind of in the middle of something. So
he did look at the camera though. He looked at the camera.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, that was kind of cool. So then anyway, back to Saturday, we saw all the qualies, all that. I mean, there's not really much to talk about on Saturday. I feel like.
I mean,
everyone that's listening to this has watched the races. The races were freaking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Also-
only thing is like,
Yeah.
I think, well, who ate it? Oh, Mosman. He ate it on the leap.
Yeah.
Freddie Noren
On
almost
qualifying.
died
That
on the
was
leap as
that
well.
was on press day, right? Mosman. I
Maybe.
think it was on press day.
Was it on
So remember we were walking up as press day was ending, and they said
Mosman
on the
down.
they said on the loudspeaker like Mosman down on the leap.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, a few guys really. I think it. Let's see, what's his name? Mark Phineas.
Did he hit it?
He sent the leap and literally like frame cased it, and bounced off, and somehow he was fine.
A kit, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but that's really the only highlights from practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the race.
Was so sick.
Me and Tanner
So
were
sick.
on the fence at like the start of the rollers, which I thought was the sickest part of the whole day.
You got to see a lot of the track.
We saw Chance hit the leap first lap. That was nuts.
Yeah,
because that was like first moto of the day, and you're like Ernie. No 250s, I don't think hit it during practice.
Nope.
no.
I
The
didn't
only reason he got to hit it was because they groomed that corner
Yeah.
before, and so they only did it like
so like they come down and we're like, is he gonna hit the leap or not? Like I was like, probably not. And then he just freaking sends it.
Yeah.
Like everyone loses it.
Yeah.
So sick.
And then second lap, Ty followed him off of it.
Yep. Did
Who
Deegan ever
was
hit it?
in third?
Deegan.
Deegan never hit it.
Nope.
No,
I think whoever was in third hit it.
I don't remember.
There was 3 people that hit it in the 250s. Hymus, Masterpool, and I think it was a privateer kid. I could be wrong.
Really?
250?
I think it was a green bike though.
I don't know. I feel like whoever was
remember.
behind Ty was hitting it too. I don't remember. But even them, they didn't.
Wasn't
They
Val.
were only hitting it for a few laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only got
But it
it.
was
Yeah.
insane to see.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And then
But being there, like the
yeah. So
atmosphere.
tell us how.
this is your first.
This was your
Yeah.
first ever outdoor race.
Yeah, I'd never been to an outdoor.
Also, we're at an hour and 12 minutes.
Really.
How much do we have on the camera? Like for usable time?
Does it say? I
It's
thought.
40 minutes on the
Yeah, we're
battery.
We're good for a little bit then.
The atmosphere is so sick. Like
Yeah.
I love. Some people might hate the air horn thing, but
Oh, it's
I
awesome.
could listen to an air horn in my ear all day long.
I don't know about that.
At Redbud,
At
context
Redbud,
included.
At Redbud, yeah. But you get to be so close. And
Yep.
one thing that is different is you don't get to watch the whole track.
Mhm.
But it is cool that they put like TVs and stuff
Yeah, so you kind of see what was going on the whole
Yes.
time.
Across the track. So it was so cool to like watch the TV and see what was going on the other side, and then
Mhm.
see them come over the flag jump.
Oh,
Well,
And then-
especially
and then
like
just-
what I thought too cool. What I thought was cool too was like Moto 2s where we were sitting. You could hear them come around the. We were sitting on the hill facing kind of like that back section.
Yep.
But you could hear them coming around the start behind us.
Thunder, dude.
And so like you knew you were like, oh, they're coming. And so don't clip that. But you could hear them like ripping around, and then you saw them like come down the ski jump, and you're like, oh, you're like all into it.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Who did you guys think was the most impressive to watch outdoors?
I mean, Chase going 1-1 was pretty impressive.
I mean, just overall, I don't know. I thought, unfortunately, because like we didn't like when you're there watching it live, you don't get to see people doing like Chance jumping the downhill after the uphill triple in the back.
Oh yeah,
Or I guess
we
in the
saw
first
that.
half. Like if you weren't sitting there, you couldn't get to see that. But there was like subtle things that you got to see that you probably didn't see on TV. Like a lot of the privateer battles were really cool. There's a lot of great battles happening in like the 20th places that were.
Bro, you were the only one watching 20th place.
I was watching it. It was sick. But I mean, like you're standing there watching them all go by, and it's like, well, now here's a bunch of privateers for 2 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna watch them.
It's really weird. The first, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, the group is like together and they come around together. And then all of a sudden they just all get peppered out. It spreads out pretty quick.
And then you're seeing dirt bikes.
Yeah. I thought it was cool to see Ty though.
Holding off The charge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that last lap. We were like on the fence, and we saw.
Yeah.
I have a sick video of it where Ty takes the outside, Hayden takes the inside, and then like Hayden's like crossing over behind him.
Yeah,
and like we were like basically eating the roost of that.
Yeah,
and it was like
that's so cool.
The last lap.
Yep,
yeah,
it was insane. I think it was like it was in like the top 5 like closest moto finishes of all time or something.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever screamed that hard at a Supercross.
Dude, my voice was so gone.
Well, just like everyone there is just going nuts. So it's like makes it easier for you to also go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
And the amount of people that were there, this had to have been a record.
Yeah.
At Redbud. I could not believe how many people were there.
When I was standing there we went to the podium after the 450 moto. Me and you were right beside each other.
Like this is the end.
Where you were,
usually everybody's clearing out and like going home, but no.
But we were not that close to the stage.
Mm-mm.
Like I don't know, there were a lot of people in front of us. But then I turned around and I literally couldn't the crowd went up and like over the hill.
Yeah.
And like there were like tens and tens of thousands of people behind me.
Yeah, all you could see was vendors and fans.
Yeah,
it was.
You couldn't
so
see the
cool.
ground.
No, yeah.
It was just insane.
Yeah, that was
an
the biggest
AP
turnout.
on the podium at Redbud.
Oh, dude.
Oh yeah, that's where that's his home, dude.
So cool.
Yeah, that was so
Dude, when he was like chugging the Red Bull, like waterfall in it.
That was sick. But overall, 10 out of 10 experience for Redbud.
So sick.
Yeah.
Sucks my bike blew up, but honestly, I still had a really good time. And then we dropped a camper off. We gave the guy a hat, a KTM camo hat, because he's
We have no idea if he wears hats, but
yeah, I mean,
he seemed happy that we gave it to him.
Yeah. And then this little memento. So we almost didn't get this camper, right? The reason I think we collectively agreed on this, the reason we got the camper was his wife. Like the phone call that he made when he said, let me make a phone call, was to his wife, because she was the sweetest person. She was so nice. And she's, asking us how our time was. And like she's just a very sincere person. So hats off to her. If she was the one that got us that camper for the week.
I think so.
She was great. She
was super cool. I talked to her when we got back, and she was like, yeah, I got the sheets all done.
Yeah, she was
super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, drop off went good, and then the drive home went great.
Yeah.
Last year was I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast last year, but last year just me and Tyler drove back, and it was chaos. It literally was like a hurricane the entire way back. It hailed on us like 3 times. Like I'm talking hail like this big, to where like the interstate stopped and people were like trying to take cover and stuff.
Yeah.
And then finally, when we got out of it, also we were towing the bikes last year too. We had 3, two bikes on the back, but I was like, man, these bikes are gonna be destroyed from all this hail and stuff. And like, I was like, the air rock is gonna be full of water probably.
Yeah.
And so finally we get to like Louisville. It finally starts to like kind of stop raining, and an 18 wheeler, like guy falls. We were the only car behind him, like probably 10 yards behind the guy. Guy had to have fallen asleep at the wheel, starts like ping ponging off of the barriers. Like we're like dodging like bumpers, like shrapnel flying everywhere. Tyler had to call 911. Like the most chaotic drive of my life last year.
Yeah.
This year, 0 problems. That was nice.
Yeah, it was good, but great success.
Yeah, what a trip. We're doing the same thing next year for sure.
Hopefully we get to rent the same camper next year. That would be ideal.
We'll see.
We took
Hayden threw a little nugget in there.
We took excellent care of it.
Oh my gosh, we went so far above and beyond. Like we got 5-star rating on the return.
Did
Yo, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Did you give him a good rating?
Yeah, I gave him 5-star.
Heck
awesome.
yeah.
Also highlighted he had great communication skills. So
nice.
He was probably like, these kids were late.
Yeah.
No comment.
But
no. But so Sunday morning when we went to leave.
Oh yeah, we got
my gosh.
that.
Yeah.
So
I had to go to the bathroom.
Saturday night, there was like a guy like driving around pumping the
septic thing.
the poop containers, and we were like, we might as well just get this done now, so we don't have to like deal with it Sunday morning. And we are like, we'll just like go to the bathroom in the porta potties Sunday morning before we leave. And so Tanner went to go do that on Sunday morning.
So I took a trip over there, and in the mean, so Saturday night, Connor and I don't know if you did, but we woke up at 3 a.m. to fireworks just going off like
Also,
crazy.
like Saturdays, I would assume is the most like chaotic night of Redbud
It's when the most people, because people will stay from.
because the most people are probably there.
Yeah.
We went to they do the night track racing on Saturday night too. We didn't race Saturday night.
Yeah.
We like walked over there at like 10 because we also bathed in the
Yeah, we went to the lake.
in the lake. So
we looked like homeless people.
so like
Yeah, we
like
someone who is the girl that washed all our dishes?
Oh, it was one of my cousins. One of my cousin's wives or whatever.
So this
Wife.
one of her many
No.
wives.
Yeah.
She's
One of my cousins'
Mormon or something. So anyway, this
They used up all of our clean water. It was
So
a very, it was a very
me and
thoughtful
Tanner
gesture.
this girl that Hayden knew, me and Tanner didn't know. She was trying to be nice and wash all our dishes. She didn't think about the fact that we are in
Have
an
a water
RV
Yeah.
that is not hooked up to water. So we came back to no water.
We're like in the meantime, we're taking like gallon showers.
yeah,
all
like
weekend.
literally,
Yeah.
like drip.
We had like I think 35 gallon. We had a 35 gallon tank,
Yeah.
right?
30, 40, something
Yeah,
like that.
40.
And so we were like really like
Conservative.
conservative.
And we had plenty of water to finish off the week,
Yeah, we were set.
and we
And then
and so this girl does all our dishes. Probably is like leaving the sink on, like
yeah.
how you would wash your dishes at home. So yeah, we came home. We came back after the Saturday race, had no water. And so we were like, we could either like siphon some water in, like trying to figure that out. And we are like, I was like, I kind of want to go to like Lake Michigan anyway. It was awesome last time. Let's just go there and we'll like just bathe in the lake. And so
we were jokingly like brought the shampoo and body wash to like make all of it happen. But
and so we like also it's like imagine like PCB, but in Michigan. Like
yeah,
it's like
super strange.
it was like a crowded beach, like a lot of like families and like people and like
yeah,
some weird looking people, some normal looking people.
it's also a very touristy area.
Very like melting pot type beach.
Yeah.
But it was also very crowded. And so we go out there and like start like shampooing up.
Also, Tanner was not about getting in.
Yeah.
And like Tanner
Oh,
was like,
yeah, that's right.
Tanner
It was
only, like,
cold.
Tanner was like barely like waist high. And like Connor
And-
like
Well,
jokingly
Tanner starts like
Yeah.
walking back and we are like, no. And so like
Hayden was not having it.
and Connor like jokingly like chased after him like, oh, I'm gonna get you. And like Tanner like bit on it a little bit, but then like I was like, nah. And like I full sprint as fast as I could in the water. I just tackled Tanner and like
Yeah.
caught him like I caught him like 10 feet before it was like not gonna catch you.
Yep.
And like made it happen, tackled him, and it was just a great time.
We looked
got-
like children out there.
Honestly, we looked like the people that weren't supposed to be there. As weird of a melting pot as it was, we were the outliers. Like we were,
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
far the
we were the
weirdest.
ones that looked like homeless people. Like,
Yeah,
We also,
showering.
me and Tanner had our mullets.
The guy-
Yeah.
So we were like rinsed off. The bottle was floating in the water, and the guy pointed. He's like, "Hey man, your lube bottle is floating away." I was
I
like,
missed that.
I-
I was
yeah, I
like,
missed that
"No,
too.
it's shampoo." Like, oh
You're gonna litter, Hayden? That's crazy.
no, I did not litter.
So,
But yeah,
that-
so
Yeah, that was
Sunday
pretty much
morning.
it.
Did,
Oh,
I,
yeah.
did I tell? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so-
Sunday
sorry.
morning, I'm going to relieve my
going to drop some dumpage.
go to drop some dumpage. And I'm just like, this is full Redbud right now. There's trash everywhere. Everyone's packing up.
Nothing
And then
but
I'm
beer
like,
cans.
I really need to get to the porta potties. And I get there and half of them are they're tipped over.
Yep.
Somebody also put a like barrel in one of them and then set fireworks off.
Mhm.
And it had
One of them, there's just a hole like
You
this
can
big.
you can
see straight through it.
yeah. And then like people were parked behind that porta potty.
Yeah.
And
What,
I'm
what
like,
it must have been like when it
what-
happened.
Yeah. So
There, I will say, like, I've never seen, because in years past, I've never seen people put fireworks in porta johns, but there were more fireworks.
Didn't
in
you
porta-johns
see
this
one
year.
from the night track?
Yes. So right
'Cause
after
we were
the
sitting
fireworks
there and-
finished, right after the fireworks, the main fireworks finished, somebody threw like, I don't know, what do they call it again? M80 or whatever.
M80, yeah.
They threw it in like the last porta john on the top of the hill, and it exploded, like completely exploded, and like the crowd just like scattered after that. But yeah, I
you know
couldn't
what's
believe
funny
it.
is I got there and I was like, man, these porta johns are like not very nice. I mean, this is red, but I figured that You could like,
there's a reason why.
yeah, you could,
The rental company is like,
words.
give us the decommissioned ones for
Yes.
Redbud.
Yeah.
Oh, we were gonna throw those away. All right, let's
Yeah,
rent them
we'll
for
send
Redbud.
those to Redbud.
Yeah.
What I thought was kind of interesting too was like there was a lot of security there.
Holy cow.
And they all did absolutely nothing.
No.
Yep.
They were there to keep the peace. They were supposed to be the thing they were after was like underage drinking and fighting. Everything else could go.
Yeah.
Like they were real because what was it? Just wasn't Connor? No, you guys were both gone. It was Nick Boyd and I were watching this kid full sprint, 8 cops chase after him. he was just underage drinking and like he ran from the cops and he got tased, but only one of the electrodes or whatever got him and he got up and got away. But like I thought this kid had just murdered somebody or tried to pull a gun on a cop. It's just underage drinking. But like they're only because I asked the guy and I'm like, why were you guys chasing him? And he's like, oh, he was underage drinking. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, so they were literally there only to enforce like underage drinking and like large like crowd control. Cause they split up. That's why we were in that whole, like leading the massive crowd was because they were breaking up like large parties at the top of the hill.
The security guards I came in contact with were very
security, security. Yes. But there
were like police there. But they were like pretty chillax too.
Yeah.
The security, I don't know what they were doing.
And then there was a guy that got arrested at the top of the night track who punched a cop.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, he punched a cop.
That.
No, we were there.
Yeah, you walked with. Were you not?
Maybe I just wasn't paying attention to what was happening.
Yeah, we were looking at him sitting in the back of the side by side.
Oh yeah,
that was the guy that punched a cop.
Yeah,
but
I didn't know he punched a cop.
Yeah.
But like. We tried to like walk into B-Lock because we didn't know he had to have like special wristbands to get in. Yeah. And the kid was like, I challenge you. The security guard was like, I challenge you to a duel for a beer. And I was like,
no way.
I was like, what? No.
Yeah. You're a volunteer, right?
Yeah. I was like, also, you look like you're like 12 years old.
Yeah. Are you even old enough? but Redbud was a blast this year. I'm stoked for next year. And I'm going to progressively have my bike more prepared each year we go. Next year I'll have the engine ready.
Next year Hayden will have a 4-stroke.
Yeah. No, but yes. All right. I'll always
wait. The problem is every year we've kind of upped it a little bit. Like first year we just went. Last year we went and raced the night track. This year we did this whole thing.
Night track and camped.
What are we doing next year?
We're buying a camper and a full size truck, a toy hauler, 300K on the rig. I'm winning the lottery.
Who's paying for it? Oh, Tanner.
No, not me.
But anywho, that was huge success.
Huge success. It could have gone completely horrible.
Yeah.
Dude, if we hadn't gotten that camper, then
it would have been completely horrible.
We probably would have camped because I was like, we're staying at the track.
Yeah, unless we could have found some other RV to rent. Unlikely, but honestly, I don't think if we had told everybody like that we were renting to go to Redbud, it would have been a no. So like this guy was probably the only guy that would have let us do it. And like he almost didn't let us do it. So,
but he did.
So
great dude. And we're renting from him next year, hopefully.
Solid guy.
We did such a good job.
He's going to pull that thing off.
I know. He's going to hear the podcast.
It's probably already off. He's probably like, we're never renting this thing again. No, he was very happy with how we treated it. So
we drained his septic, got him some, we restocked a lot of things in there. And we cleaned.
It's better than we picked it up, I would say.
It was a lot cleaner than, not like significant.
It was like great when we picked it up, but it
was very clean when we
deep cleaned that thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
that was Redbud.
So we've been going for an hour and a half. So we should probably wrap it here.
I'm good with that. Okay, Mr. Beach Blue.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Redbud 2020.
I feel like we probably could have done some bench racing and like talk about Spring Creek and all that, but there's enough people talking about that. So we'll just leave it at this. If you've never been to Redbud, you definitely should. It was a wild experience. I was kind of calculating it. We probably spent like 600-ish each.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I also getting
6, 7.
Like getting all the races set up a lot more expensive than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, so to ride Thursday was like 60.
Yep.
To race Friday was 40 a class.
90. I got a $90 back
Friday.
You did 2 classes,
Yeah, I
right?
did
So
2
45 a
classes.
class,
Yes, the 45
plus an AMA membership.
Yep.
So just that is 200.
Plus, I had to get graphics
Well, you didn't have to do that.
numbered.
Let's not talk
But-
about how much we
But just
spent.
real quick. So like the racing was about 200.
Yep.
The ticket plus the RV slot was about 200.
Yep.
And then
Food.
the RV was 240 a person.
Well, yeah, we didn't split. We split it 3 ways, but there was one share that didn't get like paid for. So we like.
Well, we split it 4 ways because Zach paid and then never showed up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we split it. Yeah, we split it 4 ways.
Yeah.
It was about 240-ish.
Yep.
So even that right there is 640. And then we spent 200 on groceries.
No, we spent.
probably 400.
Yeah,
on
you've
groceries.
even requested us for like 190 or something. Dude.
Yeah, that was gas.
That was groceries and gas.
Yeah, it was groceries and gas. But like in total,
So we spent about $800.
Yeah.
food alone we spent like $400.
No, I'm talking about each person though.
Oh,
Each of us spent about $800 on the trip.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if you're thinking about doing the full experience, but I would say that is pretty cheap for like a
Is it?
6-day vacation.
Yeah, if you're like going to the Bahamas.
No, like
Yeah, I would say it's pretty cheap. I mean,
if you're gonna go to like PCB for 6 days, it's gonna be like probably like $2,000.
I mean, if you're splitting that with a group of people, maybe.
I don't know. Either way, it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean it's not like,
dude, don't
we're going
I would
next
do
year.
yeah.
You should do
Yeah.
it.
I make this. I mean, it's a lot of money,
It is a lot of
Yes.
money.
but 100% worth going.
Oh, yeah.
I do it. I'll do this as many years as we can do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the way to do it too, because
100% camp. Do it.
yes,
You
camp.
gotta
Because
stay
if
at
you
the
don't,
track.
Yes.
as soon as Friday, midday Friday hits, and
Mhm.
you don't have a camper, you're gonna really regret it.
Yeah.
Well, also if you don't have a camper, you're not getting there on Wednesday.
No. Yeah.
Right.
And you miss out. There's so much more because like showing up as early as possible on Saturday only gets you so much, right? Like seeing the combine, the night races, and like just the overall vibe of everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
We made great friends with our neighbors.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
made,
Yeah,
we
they
made
were-
friends with a bunch of random people. They were just like, I mean, the thing is, like, we've talked about this before, but like
The MOTO
when
community.
when you're at a dirt bike track, like or a race like that, everyone's on the same page.
Yep.
For the most part. I mean, there's still some freaking crazy people.
Yeah.
But like everyone's like down to like be friends with everyone. And so like remember like we met those dudes like standing in line.
Yeah.
Uh
They were like mid 50s.
yeah, like we talked to them for like 20 minutes and then like our neighbors beside us were like
Super nice.
super nice.
chill.
Yep.
Our neighbors on the other side of us were also super nice.
Yeah. We rolled up
Really
and they were.
both sides were both super chill.
Yeah.
So anyway, we should probably wrap this because I think my
SD card's about to
SD card about to
max
fill
out.
up. But that's probably like one of the longest podcasts we've done in a minute. So
I mean, such a blast.
yep.
Yep. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Dude, welcome aboard.
Yep. fun.
Welcome to D class.
All right, let's not.
that was so bad.
I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, give me that.
All right, we'll just wrap it there. Thanks
See
for
you guys.
listening.
Cut.
We'll be back hopefully soon. We're
Peace.
gonna hopefully do these more often. I say that every time.
Yeah.
We won't. We're gonna procrastinate right in between. We'll get there.
We got to do it hidden.
We'll do these more often.
Go for it.
We've got some sick guests lined up that I just like haven't followed up with because we've been like kind of sporadic with these, but
Time Master Pool.
Yeah.
we will start doing these more often and actually get some good guests on. So thank y'all for listening. Peace.